Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Totally Awesome Podcast. My name is JoshAgeddon, and I'm joined by the Court Martial Podcast. Say hello, everyone.
No, you joined our podcast and now have started your podcast.
You know what? You're right. I was out of town. I literally just got into my house like 5 minutes ago in the middle of one of their news segments, so I'm a little rude, but I am joining Sean McCarty, your Colonial Champion, and the Bay Area Brawler, Skyler Greenberg.
I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. Can we stop the free trial of 2022? I want to get off the ride.
I already told you. They've already taken the money out of your account. These are recurring payments. You have to call bangbros.com.
I've already been zoinked.
Fuck you.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Your card was hacked and somebody bought porn with it, and then they will totally believe you, and then you can unsubscribe, but it's like a whole zabada. It's
what, do I have to be Brian on the phone listening to a lady talk about, okay, so I see you made a payment for Captain Stabbing.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Hey, look, Sky, your preferences are your own. You know? What you're into.
We're talking about Brian the dog from Family Guy's preferences, not mine, okay?
Yeah, do you want to talk about your preferences? I mean,
whatever, man.
Let's open the floor. Let's just let it all go.
Let's talk about my preferences. Do you want to know what my preferences are?
Sure.
Good professional wrestling, which is not what we got on day one.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be reviewing day one after that strange interlude.
That's right.
Down since day one-ish.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a ish.
So let's start with JoshAgeddon. Your overall thoughts of the show.
This might be the most unnecessary pay-per-view I've ever watched. Like, nothing happened. The only interesting thing that happened was the main event. And everything surrounding the main event. Which, that literally the only thing watchable on this show. I didn't think it was that bad. It's just, it felt like an episode of Raw.
Yeah. Sky?
This was a boring pay-per-view. Oh, sorry. Boring premium live event.
I will actually stab you. They only said that 50 trillion times during the course of the show.
But Joshua, he'd like that. He's ordering Captain Stabbing.
You know what? I'm gonna get him off before he dies. Your final orgasm!
No, I'm good.
This is more this meaningless banter is more in fun than this show was.
That's true.
Can we talk about premium live event for a second? What the fuck?
Do we have to?
It's another Vinceism.
Yeah, I know.
More language out of our language.
Like,
you could just say special events.
I know!
Aren't a thing anymore. Why do you have to use the word premium live event? You're trying to make it sound important when it's not.
That's basically what it is.
That's the free version.
It's the same thing as whenever he has a non-title matchup and he says, this is a championship contenders match. Like, why?
Yeah, can't say title shot.
No.
Can't say won the belt.
Nope.
Can't say number one contendership match.
They've got a whole list of these, and the worst is when the first words you hear out of the mouth of Michael Cole are "Happy Birthday, every Ron," or I'm sorry, "Happy New Year, every Ron."
Is Ron Killings' birthday? I didn't know that.
Every Ron in the world got wished a Happy New Year by Michael Cole.
And a happy birthday by Sean.
Well, it might have been his birthday. I don't know. But the point is, this isn't the first words I spoke to ring in the new year. This is on Michael Cole to say the easiest thing he was going to say all night. Happy New Year, everyone. And
he screwed that up. He screwed up the call for the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. God, Michael Cole. Just
that plus Migos set the bar for what 2022 is going to be.
Who are Migos again?
We'll explain it in a second when we get to that match, okay?
Well, let's lead off. Let's get this party started with the Smackdown Tag Team Championship.
No. Pre-show. Did you watch it?
Oh, there was a pre-show?
That's my response.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sean, did you watch the pre-show?
If I was starting with the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, do you think I watched the pre-show?
So, I do want to explain something that happened on the pre-show, okay?
Pain.
Well, yes, pain. Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Cesaro and Ricochet. The only reason why I bring this up is that there was a spot and a botch where Cesaro picked Ricochet up on one foot as Ridge Holland was laying in the middle of the ring. and Cesaro lifts Ricochet up. Ricochet does a flip, and then his knee lands on Ridge Holland's face, which is not supposed where it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be his chest or his neck. But he landed on Ridge Holland's face and broke Ridge Holland's nose.
and they replayed it.
In slow-mo.
They replayed it, and his nose was broken sideways, and they had to cut in Sheamus because apparently Ridge Holland was starting to bleed all over the mat.
Bet. I mean, if you saw the way his nose bent, you could totally understand that.
Yeah,
would just be
that was gnarly.
It was gnarly. Somehow Sheamus won the match on his own because they didn't change the finish, which
Well, to be fair, Skyler, he was wrestling two baby faces.
That's right. And the heel has to win.
Yeah.
Going up against two baby faces.
Of course.
Without cheating.
The WWE baby faces are stupid and incompetent. Of course the heel's gonna win.
By the way, I don't think Ricochet or Cesaro got any heat for the spot. It was just a freak accident.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like this week of accidents and freak injuries, like Ridge Holland's nose, Phoenix's arm, and Jake Atlas's knee. Just
me saying happy birthday.
That was a freak accident.
All of these are at the exact same level of disgrace and suffering.
The only freak accident we're missing right now is Lars Sullivan.
and we're not bringing him to the table.
Because fuck that guy.
So, can we move right along back to the show?
I do want to wish Ridge Holland a good recovery because, again, that nose was broken really badly.
Yeah.
Yes, and best of luck in your future rhinoplasty.
Yeah.
So, that's a nose job for all you kids at home who have no idea what the fuck I just said. So we start with the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. It is the Usos and the New Day for the 648,328th and a fourth time. What were your thoughts, Skyler?
This was a good match, but the problem with it is that it's the Usos versus the New Day. And even though they're both really good tag teams, we've seen every type of match that these two teams have had, and because of that, I didn't really care.
Joshua?
I 110% agree. I thought this match was fine, but I've seen this match. They've been going... These two teams have been going at it for at least how many years? Like 5 years now?
Death, Taxes, and Usos versus New Day.
Yes, exactly. I've seen this. They've had Hell in a Cell matches. They've had no disqualification matches. I've seen it.
Ladder, Last Man Standing, they've done everything.
Oh, God. They've had tag team titles on a pole match, a pancake on a pole match. I've seen it.
No, that was only in the backstage.
Prison match, though. Until they have a Punjabi prison match, that's the only official feud ender there is.
The Punjabi prison.
Punjabi prison match.
For Xavier's crown.
Until they do that, which was apparently made out of construction paper. Because that was... Can these guys, come up with some realistic-looking props? How many millions of dollars do you guys have?
Can these guys have a tag team match without 8 trillion finisher kickouts that doesn't go 3 days long?
It looks like you're going to the Dollar Tree in South Carolina and picking all this stuff out and paying some scrawny monster-fueled teenager with it.
They don't serve Monster Energy drinks at Dollar Tree.
Wait, Joshua, you work at Dollar Tree?
I work at Dollar General, not Dollar Tree. That's where my fiance works.
I didn't say it was you. Did I say you? I said a teenager.
No, you said Monster Energy at Dollar Tree. They don't sell that there, because I used to work there.
Okay. Well, the building, though, right? You chug the Monster, you slam it on the ground, you hit your head with it 6 times like Sandman did. You own every dollar in the tree.
I'm Sandman if he was an emo 24-year-old and instead of alcohol, just straight up Monster Energy. And McDonald's.
It's the same kind of energy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But in any case, I don't disagree with either of you. This is just a match I've seen before. As always, they have 2 matches in their match. I end up imitating a chicken every time I hear the Usos entrance and watch them headbang.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about them just doing that. I know they're getting into the moment, but for some reason my head just bobs and my arms just reach back and just anyway.
You almost want to do it. You almost want to put da 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 da.
But Atlanta was bored because they've seen it 1,000 times. Atlanta was also a dumpster of
Yeah.
crowd. They were not a good crowd.
And they only came alive during the main event.
Crowd.
Yeah.
Name me a good wrestling crowd.
Chicago, whenever CM Punk is there.
Chicago. What's the most recent? They were pretty alive for WrestleMania Night 1.
That was a year ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And this is day 1. What's your point?
No, my point is that WWE, because they've driven off all of the regular fans, everyone we are getting are the terrible, worst of society, professional wrestling fans you can get.
Yeah. And then I love when Xavier Woods screams out, "This is my home!" He goes, "Atlanta!" And then Cole, seconds later, Xavier Woods is from Atlanta.
Thank you, Michael Cole.
Thank you, Cole. We really needed that ad.
Thank you for guiding us through this, Michael Cole. We'd be lost without you.
My biggest issue with this match wasn't even the match itself, and this is something I'm going to have points on all night. Kevin Dunn and the formatting of this show were the worst part of this show. They actually hurt the matches with their production more than I've seen them do in a long time. And that includes the Thunderdome, folks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because, well, first I don't know why they do this, but one of the Usos, I think it was Jimmy, started taunting and started yelling, his trash talk into the hard cam. That's just bad formatting. Because that makes it look like you're deliberately going out of your way to look at the camera, break the illusion that you're like, you wouldn't do that normally in a fight. You wouldn't, because it doesn't look like he's yelling out there because it looks like he's yelling at the hard cam. And the way he positioned his body, it just looks so unnatural. And it's what they tell them to do. And I don't like when they do that.
It's just the increased sterilization of this product. It's getting to the point where it's like, it's not even like believable in the slightest anymore.
Well, it's getting to the point where like leaving the ring is going to be called exiting stage left. And, that's because they're making it more theatrical. They're making it like a stage play rather than like a wrestling contest, which, of course, this is WWE. I don't know what I'm bitching about, but still, it's like, it's the little things. And the little things here really bothered me in this show.
It was just an all-night just poke the bear, do something annoying that would piss off the fan watching the event.
That's been WWE for the past several years.
Yeah. But it was most prominent this day, on day 1.
On day 1.
And to be fair to this match, to be fair to the second match in this match, they did get the crowd kind of into it with a lot of the false finishes, but, it just became moves, which, for the people who like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing that people like, so I don't have any issue with that. And then they stand apart from each other, they look really tired, they look weak, and I said, please don't hockey fight.
And they hockey fight.
And then the finish. Could somebody else please talk about this finish? I'll mention the other one.
Okay, for one, real quick, Sean's biggest problem was the formatting. My main issue with this match, other than the fact that I've seen it 8 trillion times this year and we're only 7 days in, Jesus, once again, we do not need to start the show with finisher kickouts in a 20-minute long match. It's the opening contest. How long was it?
17.
Still too long. It could have been 5 minutes shorter.
Could have been 7 minutes shorter.
And
could have been 10 minutes shorter.
They could have other tag teams on their roster besides these two. These are like the only 2 legitimate tag teams in the entire company.
Well, we'll talk about the other tag team match in a second.
But of course, the finish was a 3D for reasons.
No, a half-assed 3D. Not even a good 3D, a half-assed 3D that made Bully Ray, I'm sure, tighten his ass cheeks a little bit.
No, actually, what happened was that Bully Ray and Devon Dudley approved of the 3D. They said, you know what, you guys can use it.
But why?
Here's the thing. Hold on. I'm sure that was what was said on Twitter by Bully Ray and Devon. I'm sure on the inside, away from the screen, Bully Ray was cussing these 2 boys out for doing a shitty 3D.
Just a shiver going down his spine.
It was bad. And also, for what it's worth, aren't the Usos heels? Where's the cheating?
Yeah.
There was no cheating in this match.
And why are the Usos...
Things.
The heels are using a popular tag team finishing move to pop the crowd instead of the baby faces. What?
Oh, WWE, you never
Why?
To make us go, huh?
Like, if the New Day used it and won, that would be one thing because they're baby faces. But at the same time, why use the tag team finishing move of a different team? Everyone's just going to be like, oh yeah, remember the Dudleys? They were cool. What's going on? Why?
Oi, Gavolt. This match, this just wasn't what it could have been. And with these guys, I don't know whether we could have gotten more out of them. Honestly.
Their last tag team match against each other should have been that tag team Hell in a Cell match back in 2017. That Hell in a Cell match was in 2017.
Yeah, and
that was the last time that we were enthusiastic about a feud between the two, because even then we're like, okay, we kind of seen everything from them, but the Hell in a Cell match was so good, we're like, you know what, we'll let it go, but don't do it again for a while. And they did do that, and they're like, no, we're gonna throw them against each other again in 2018 and 2019. And then 2020, they were injured and doing Roman Reigns stuff. But 2021 and 2022, we're going to do it.
WWE.
Yeah. And boy, they did it.
Either make new tag teams or just get rid of the entire tag team division. Please hate...
Don't do that.
Oh, God.
But I will say this, though. If you're not going to do it right, then don't do it at all.
Exactly. You can't have a tag team division with two tag teams.
Yeah.
Well, WWE is going to show you, fuck you, we can.
There's a little blonde, confused child that Kevin Dunn cut to at the end of that matchup because he was not sure why that was what that was. And
are you sure that wasn't the child or Matt Riddle?
No, way less hair. Way less hair.
Way less marijuana.
Out of his ass. Then we get a promo, and I'm not even going to talk about it much, but I noticed this. Kevin Dunn tells them not to look at the camera, so you saw Big E's eyes go up and around, all the way down, all across the side. They made a full 360 around that camera so they would not look directly into that camera. What he said was fine. I just wish that they wouldn't format these people to look dumb, because he was begging for a place to put his center of focus.
Why would you not want them to look into the camera? So that it's like you're talking to the audience. What?
It's for the same reason that they put Big E and basically turned him backwards and then had him wrench his neck all the way back to look at a television. Because you gotta have your body in front of the camera, facing the camera, man. It's like Kevin Dunn is like the guy who thinks he knows everything, but he's a freshman just going to film school. Trust me, I graduated with a film degree. This is the guy who thinks he's got all the answers because he worked on the morning show in high school and thinks he knows everything about making shots and how to position people when he doesn't have the slightest clue how to convey what he's trying to convey.
No, you are incorrect. What it is that my daddy saved the film library, and because my daddy saved the film library, Vince McMahon owes me for the rest of his life.
Please die soon. Okay, I'm not going to say that. I almost said something really bad, but I stopped myself at the last second.
Well, why? You love the children. Why don't you say something bad?
No, I'm not the one who loves the children. That's Bray Wyatt.
Wow, that got very accusatory very quick.
Wow.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Well, let's move on to something else more mediocre, which is Migos. And one Migo was wearing MJF scarf print. And why did they use half of a backstage ring for interviews?
Because it's weird. Wrestling.
It just looks weird. And then when they do the promo later with McIntyre, where they almost get to that spot, it's just.
Wait, do you know who Migos are, Joshua?
Never heard of them once before in my life. I just assume it's generic rap.
They're crappers.
Hold on, let me be more specific. They are rappers from the Atlanta area.
Okay.
Who are crap.
Oh, by the way, did you notice that they kept rubbing their hands?
That's...
Like, they kept rubbing their hands for some reason. Like, they were, like, putting some hand sanitizer. Like, I know WWE's dirty, but do you really have to rub your hands all the time?
Little do we know that all three Migos have zippers on the back of their heads, and you pull them down, and they're all just large praying mantis.
They're all three of them are germaphobes.
No, they're the aliens from Men in Black.
And that is a total 100% fact. Look it up on the internet, folks. And but I guess then here comes this next match. It is Why did this match happen? It is Madcap Moss with Happy. I can't even say his name. These two just tickle me for whatever reason. Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. This match did not need to happen. Joshua, your thoughts?
Okay, when this started, I was like, they can't be serious. They're actually doing this match. Well, at least Drew McIntyre will immediately Claymore kick the shit out of him and pin him in like 5 seconds. And then that didn't happen. And not only did that not happen, the match went about 10 minutes. And with every passing minute, I just got more upset.
Madcap Moss lasted longer than Jinder Mahal.
Why was this on pay-per-view?
Why
was this on a premium live event? Excuse me.
Well, this was a SmackDown TV match that was put on the show in order to pad it out.
Well, here's the thing. I'm happy that I got to see that Madcap Moss actually has some potential, just riddled by a horrible gimmick.
Now, the match itself was fine, but like you said, the gimmick is just like...
The gimmick is bad. What's worse is that Drew McIntyre shouldn't be competitive with Madcap Moss.
Exactly. He should have immediately Claymore kicked his head off. 1, 2, 3, 5-second match.
Yeah. This is but to be fair, Atlanta didn't give a shit about Drew McIntyre. like zero. Not during the backstage interview, not during this match. They could not care. Drew McIntyre's babyface run has long overstayed its welcome.
And you know what the worst part is? Is that apparently Drew McIntyre is having neck issues, and those neck issues, if they require surgery, would take him out of the Rumble and take him out of Mania. And I know he needs a break. It probably would be better if he's off TV for a little bit so someone else gets a chance to shine. But we're talking about a guy who was one of the hottest babyfaces 2 years ago, going into 2020, and then the pandemic ruined everything. But he was one of the hottest babyfaces off of that Rumble win in 2020. And
he was the best thing going for WWE throughout pretty much all of 2020.
Right, and then it's just this last year, they've been giving him shit to do. He's been wrestling in all these filler feuds while they try and get people to not hate him because he was on top for so long. And now, no one cares.
Part of the problem is, too, and I've noticed this with WWE, they have no concept of how to keep somebody valuable after they lose a championship.
Yep.
They have no idea how to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, they don't know how to put him in a meaningful feud. They don't know if he was elevated by having the championship. They don't know how to capitalize that and work with somebody who's still on that level, who's still marketable. They don't really quite understand their own hierarchy beyond what their core group of like 10 people, the ones I'm talking about. Beyond them, they don't really know what to do with people once they lose the belt. And it's a shame.
That's
honestly a shame.
That's pretty accurate.
Deserved it, but I will say this. I think missing Mania and this injury is the perfect reason for him to come back and turn heel. I missed the Mania. First, it was taken away from me because of the pandemic. Then, it was taken away from me from a whole bunch of random stupid
because I gave out my neck for you people, and you people didn't support me. So now I'm going to take everything I want from the people you like, because you didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is going to do Drew more good than harm. Going and get this fixed up and missing Mania. Yeah, it sucks not getting the Mania payoff, but I also have to imagine that among WWE that Drew is pretty safe as far as job security.
We thought the same thing about Braun Strowman.
He's been fired before, he can be fired again.
Well, yeah, it's true. We don't know the loose cannon nature of the powers that be. But really, there's not a whole lot to do with this. Thank God Drew remembered which turnbuckle didn't have the pyro.
Yeah. I noticed that too.
Because there were 3 of them that were on. If Drew was like, which one was it? Went to the other side? Bad. Bad news.
3rd degree burns.
But This was but there were some good spots in this match. I mean, they did the big air belly to belly, which looked great. You know, the bumps that Moss took were good. You know,
it was really impressive when he caught Drew McIntyre, staggered a little bit, but then righted himself and then did a huge slam. That I actually like that he staggered a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what I've also noticed about Drew too, and this is something. It's the little things. When Drew goes and gets Irish whipped into the corner, he usually does like a little tiny jump before he gets. You know, it's still a fluid motion, but he does a little tiny jump so that when he hits the turnbuckle, it sounds louder. It makes more of an impact than just running and turning and hitting it. And it's the little things like that make him so good at what he does.
Here's my question for you, Sean, and you, Joshua. If Madcap Moss didn't have such a bad gimmick, do you think he could be a good mid-card heel?
Perhaps.
Totally. I think that he can't be telling crappy jokes that somebody else made up for him. I think that if we got to hear... I mean, he's definitely got some personality. He's got some charisma. I actually was a little bit tickled by these two because they were goofs. I wish they didn't oversell their laughter. You know, but honestly, I don't even hate this gimmick. I just think that it's... For what this
They're given nothing to work with.
Exactly. It's just too over the top. You know, if they dialed this down a little bit, they might actually have something here with this. But the problem is...
And Drew McIntyre should not be around stuff like this.
They give him crappy lines, they give him crappy shtick, and then Madcap Moss randomly goes competitive with one of the top baby faces WWE has.
Yeah.
And then the finish of this match made no sense. Drew goes 1, 2, 3, and 3 people did that with him, and went to go for the Claymore. Moss countered, and then not even a half a second later, Drew just clubbed him in the back. Irish whip, goes and hits a Claymore anyway for the 1, 2, 3. What was the point of the counter? If you're just going to beat him with 1 Claymore 2 seconds later, why?
I think it was that he wanted to do the count for the fans, but then, in theory, he realized that mad coughs.
He's got them mad coughs. He needs some cough drops. He needs some halls.
He got some COVID right there.
Oh, no.
We'll talk about that later. But the thing about it is that he realized that I shouldn't be theatrical. Just put him away.
We're going to call him Mad Cough Moss from now on.
This was not a bad match, but this shouldn't have been competitive.
Yeah.
You know, I think Moss deserves better for this gimmick, but I'm glad. I'm honestly hoping that Drew misses Mania, because if he did end up being the choice for either of the two individuals and who have belts right now, I think the fans would just reject it.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm just disappointed that it took an injury to take him out, but it is what it is.
It's true. Now, we go back into the back, and I only mention this because this is something you could see the difference in ability here when it comes to promos, because now Kevin Owens is in the same position, and I'm not saying that Kevin Owens did a terrific promo, but did you notice that he was looking at the interviewer the entire time? Mm-hmm. If he can't look at the camera, he might as well talk to somebody. That's a next level.
Like a normal person.
Like a normal human being. And so thank you, Kevin Owens, for being a normal human being. Then Seth Rollins, the heel, gets a long babyface package.
Was it a long babyface package?
I mean, it felt and smelt like a long babyface package.
It was like a 2.5 minute long package. It was they blew a lot of smoke up Mr. Rollins, Seth Rolluigi's ass here.
Well, do you want to know why?
Because they loves him.
No, not that. Not just that. But apparently Seth Rollins was booked to win this match had Brock Lesnar not been involved.
Really?
Sad.
Sad. Depression.
This is so sad. Can we get 1,000 likes in honor of Seth Rollins not getting the belt? A moment of silence for Seth Rollins in his not getting a belt. Moment of silence. 5 seconds.
Damn it, Joshua.
You ruined everything.
I just had to. God. If only I had to fart. That would have been perfect.
Oh, yeah. Good luck getting your ass up to the camera fast enough.
Anyway, you doubt me, good sir.
Well, speaking of things that come out of your ass, here comes this next match. It is the Raw Tag Team Championships. with RK Bro going up against Sucks Penises. I'm sorry.
Shitty and poopy.
That's right. That's right. I have had multiple names for the 2-time Grappling winner for Worst Tag Team of the Year.
Suck and blow.
Win twice.
And they're going up against the only team that has been nominated for Best and Worst Tag Team of the Year.
In the same year.
Yeah.
In the same year.
You're welcome, Skyler.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Well, hello, I'm Jimmy Smith with Byron Stack, son.
And the Migos, who were at ringside, and they kept panning to the whole time.
So,
I would rather them pan to Migos than them panning to frickin' Montez Ford. I wanted to strangle him during this match.
Well, at least it looks better with the beard. He looks at least like a human man with a beard, instead of a eye-popping frog toddler.
Sean, I have officially... The other guy Angelo Dawkins, I can never remember his name because he's so just forgettable. I don't mind him so much. I have joined you as far as despising Montez Ford. I fucking hate him.
Montez Ford is the Enzo Amore of that tag team.
Like, when he chopped Randy Orton and then started selling like he was chopped, I wanted to kill him. When he started dancing, I wanted to kill him. Just be serious, please.
It was a crap chop, he brag dance, and then got the eye poke. Yeah, that was bad. Why are we having a babyface versus babyface match?
And why is the babyface doing the heel eye poke and the babyface is doing the heel mood gets cheered?
Wait, which heel?
Randy Orton. Seriously, when Montez was dancing, I was booing, and when Randy poked him in the eye, I started cheering.
I'm gonna say this. We all should appreciate Randy Orton right now, because when he's gone, there will be nobody cheering for anybody. Randy Orton is a product of a bygone era where they actually put value into making their people stars, and Randy, to this day, gets more cheers and more consistent cheers than almost anybody on the roster.
That is 100% accurate.
It's amazing that WWE has to keep bringing back John Cena, Edge, Randy Orton, these old stars that WWE made because they can't make any current ones.
Yeah. What are they going to do when all of these people are gone? Wither up and die?
Well, we're all starting to turn into powder right now.
Triple H.
Yeah. Well, the Dunn's cuts to Migos were pointless and way too frequent. I have to agree with you there on Sky. And Orton might have overdone the leg tan because it looked like his legs were like super bronzed, and then the rest of him was like regular Orton color. Is that racist? Probably.
No. Randy Orton needs to work on his tan game a little bit.
Just evening it out. Just a little bit. And it doesn't happen all the time. I just noticed it here. Ford did the corner dive that we see in every match of his. I'm bored. And then the finish of this match.
Another 3D. Why?
3D was bad. How about a second? Even worse looking one than the first match.
Why?
Do you blame Riddle or Randy for making that 3D look bad?
Why did this have the same exact finish as the first tag team match? Why?
Oh, at least they got the
you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, that's what this match was. And then they all hugged. Great.
And Migos kept rubbing their hands for no reason.
Who, thank God, just didn't get involved. They just sat there and were like, all right, cool. All right, we done? How much money did we just make?
And they seem so uninterested. Like, WWE is so desperate to have any celebrity with any ounce of stardom to come over and give them a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, I almost missed Bad Bunny actually just dancing around Booker T.
At least Bad Bunny was actually a pro wrestling fan. Migos were there for a check.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, and we will talk about celebrities getting involved with WWE in a little bit because boy almighty.
Oh, no.
And, well, before we get there, does anyone else have anything to say about this match?
No, I have nothing else to say. The Matt Riddle's pigeons flying out of his toes is still fucking ridiculous.
I don't even think I saw it this time.
Yes, Riddle. There's no Matt in that.
I'm calling him Matt Riddle!
Well, can somebody give me some medical over here? Were the lines that we heard after Baron Corbin Pillmanized Mr. McIntyre's neck after our interviewer, I forget her name. Is it Kayla? It might have been Kayla.
Someone
goes up and goes to talk to Drew. Drew is literally seconds away from getting to the interview spot, and she just runs up to him going, "Oh, Drew, I have a question. And Drew's like, you have a microphone. You have question. What is your question?
Greetings, microphone.
Yeah, he asks the question, and he gets, I don't know, about like 15 words in, and then here come Madcap Moss and Happy Corban, and they do this thing with the Pillmanizing of the neck, and then Adam Pearce comes out and says my favorite line in the whole night, "Give me some medical over here."
Give me some medical over here.
English language, folks. That is something that exists.
By the way, that angle was done to get Drew off of TV.
Yeah. I was like, can we get a medic? Can we get some doctors over here? EMTs, anybody. Can somebody get over here to come look at him? Can we get some medical over here?
Well, when you, Sean, when you have some hurt, you need some medical to make your hurt go away.
That's where you add Riddle and be like, yeah, man, I just lit up some medical. We just fought. And then you sponsor RVD's rolling papers, and then.
And remember, these RVD rolling papers with RVD's face on them.
That was. I still can't believe they actually allowed him to do that.
I know.
I genuinely am shocked, and maybe they didn't know he was gonna, but I was like,
it would have been so much better if they didn't know he was gonna do that. Can you imagine them watching that backstage?
Not only are these rolling papers fucking with his face, but signed by him too.
That's right. So
you can literally smoke RVD's signature.
Yeah, that's right. And then we get to the best interview I thought of the whole night. Brock Lesnar pulls a Paul Heyman, does Paul Heyman's thing, then looks right into the camera and says, "Look at that, I'm going to be WWE champion." Goes back into the room, short, sweet, into the camera. Brock deserved the belt.
Viking Lumberjack Brock is the best Brock.
This Brock looks like he's genuinely having fun being there, which you can't always say about Brock Lesnar, but he looks like he's genuinely having a good time. So long as he's genuinely having a good time, I got no problem with him doing what he's doing.
Honestly, same. Who else? I'm just so done at this point.
But now we're almost there. We have now hit the second half of this show. And it is, God, I don't know what to say about this. It's Edge and The Miz. Yes.
Joshua, can you calm down? That match was not that bad.
It's the cure for fucking insomnia.
Hold on. Can I just say one thing about this match, and I'm going to move on? Actually, I got two things. First, Edge's Brood entrance was badass.
This match.
Yes.
Edge's Brood entrance was badass.
That's about the only thing I'm excited about with Edge now.
Second, I like that outfit, Maurice. Goddamn. Anyways.
Was that it?
That's it. There's nothing to take away from this other than the fact that it was a long match.
Au contraire. I've got a list. But, Joshua, why don't you go ahead and cut that promo that I can feel festering in your genitalia?
Okay. I am so over The Miz. I legitimately do not understand any appeal he's ever had post-2012. 2010, 2011, 2012. In my opinion, he was fine. He was great. Maybe not ready enough for the WWE title reign he went on. But he was fine. He was a good heel. But for some reason in 2012, they turned him babyface, and ever since then, he's been fucking boring. 2013, boring. 2014, boring. On and on and on and on. And then he had that overrated as fuck promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. I still don't know why everyone was so, oh my god, that was so good! Let's care about the Intercontinental Championship now, and then immediately not care about it as soon as this feud's over. I still do not understand why everyone went so crazy over that overrated as fuck promo with him and Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack.
Can I counter you and be the devil's advocate?
Please do.
So apparently The Miz was upset about the fact that even though he was the Intercontinental Champion, he was not being booked on SmackDown. So he used his passion and anger and said, "You know what? Give me that Talking Smack spot. I want to do a promo against Daniel Bryan and complain about my situation." And it was cathartic in watching The Miz get all of his frustrations out about not being booked properly during that time.
And I'm sorry, but I thought his delivery of that whole thing back in 2016 was lame. He just talked like this the whole time, and just like this the whole time. I'm angry now. Intercontinental title.
Joshua, you are not watching that promo without... You are selectively hating The Miz. Now, let's be clear. I think The Miz has had a terrible last few years, actually. But last year specifically, I mean, he won
the title last year, Skyler.
He was WWE champion, and then he was eaten by zombies.
Can I finish what I want to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he should have been in the running for worst male of the year.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
In my opinion, he should be in the running for worst male of the year every year since 2013.
Except for that one feud with Dolph Ziggler.
Fuck that feud. Wow, the whole feud was, oh man, I'm the Intercontinental Champion and I should be booked more, and Daniel Bryan said that I'm soft. Oh, I'm so offended, even though he was absolutely 100% correct. And then they had the matches with Dolph Ziggler where Miz cheats to win. Wow, we've never seen that before. And then Dolph puts his career on the line and then wins the Intercontinental title to only lose the belt like a couple weeks later. And then The Miz just randomly loses it to Dean Ambrose, so that whole thing was complete and totally meaningless. And where is Dolph Ziggler now?
Is that the fault of Miz, though, or is that the fault of WWE not knowing?
I'm just as annoyed with WWE as I am with Miz, but The Miz, I'm sorry, he looks like a regular person. He does not look like a wrestler. When I watch him wrestle, I'm bored. When he does his stupid little sweeping DDT, I'm bored. When he puts on a shitty-looking figure four, I'm bored. I have been bored with this fucker for like almost a decade now.
I got nothing against him.
I am so sick and fucking tired of watching this guy wrestle. I want him to leave. I want him to retire. I'm done. He does the same thing all the time in his stupid little hoodie. Why does he wear a stupid hoodie with the stupid fucking glasses? He looks like a nun. I don't get it.
Because he's in Hollywood.
No, he's not. Straight to DVD. It's not an
He did it for different Marines, baby. That's almost all the military corps right there, baby.
Because he's getting heat, which is clearly working because look how angry you are.
I'm not mad because he's a good heel. He's annoying. I want to see him get his ass kicked. I don't want to watch him wrestle. I don't want to see him on my TV.
For 20 minutes against Edge.
Allow me to interject here, and let me just say that when it comes to The Miz, it's definitely been waves with me. There have been some times when I see the potential in him, and I'm like, you know what? He's doing it. He's putting in hard work. His matches aren't great, but when he's in with the right person, he can make things happen, right? There have been this, like, I particularly, and maybe this is just hindsight, nostalgia talking, but I actually particularly liked, I didn't really think the promo was perfect, but I thought the feud with Ziggler was pretty good, but considering that was the highlight of SmackDown at the time. I think there's also been moments where the roster has been so paper thin that Miz as champion actually seems like a valuable thing to do. But then they do things like put him with John Morrison and have him squirt water at people. And every time that he looks and like he's building himself back up or they're putting any sort of real value and time into what he's doing, they cap him off at the knees or do the worst thing they possibly could do and make him champion when nobody wanted it. And at the time that nobody wanted to see Miz as champion and you knew that he wasn't going to be champion for very long against the person he shouldn't be beating, right? They just have no sense of timing for how they could properly use the Miz because I think there is talent in him, but you look at the people that he's associated with and you go, to be fair, Miz did not look like he was on Edge's level on this night just by the sheer way that he worked. This match wasn't terrible. It was long. I will concede that most of my issue with The Miz is the way WWE handles him. But me personally, I just don't think he's that talented other than on the mic. And even then, I think he's overrated. His in-ring at this point is passable. At best, passable. He's not the worst guy when he's wrestling and there's a women's match that isn't one of the 4 horsewomen on the show.
Oh, no, we will get to that.
The worst on the night.
Oh, we will get to that.
You know what I mean?
Because I also have a rant about the women's match.
So, well, we'll get there. But just a few notes of this match. I hope Eric Bischoff didn't pay for that blazer that he got brewed all over. I really... Seeing Eric officiate a wedding kind of made me miss the 3-minute warning thing that they did with the Billy and Chuck commencement ceremony, which was also stupid. But still, that was kids, so I liked it. Mike Rome tried, but he will never be Tony Schimmel going, superstar!
That is true.
He tried.
Mike Rome was annoying the hell out of me.
He's not as bad as the Hamwich, who
he's trying to be the Hamwich.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Diet Hamwich.
You ready to hear probably one of the most controversial thing I'm going to say all day?
Go ahead.
I miss Santino Morella's hip toss.
He did a good hip toss.
Yeah, he really does. He really does.
The hip tosses were not good by either individual.
And if you want to see some good Santino Morella hip tosses, go over to SCCG.
That was like, I think his best move was that hip toss, because he did it beautiful.
Oh yeah, he really did.
Oh, you didn't like when he did the Cobra?
You didn't like the split leg stunner?
The split leg, okay, the split leg part was fine, the stunner part annoys me.
Yeah, well, I've got more things of annoyance. Speaking of, I am sick of heels smiling when baby faces get the better of them, and this is something that I can fully put Miz on blast for to quench the insatiable appetite for disdain that JoshAgeddon has played forth upon us. Edge punches him, gets him in a grapple, does a headlock, gets the better of him, is about to go for a move, and then he gets out of it. And Miz looks in the camera, well, not into the camera, but he looks down at the camera, and he smiles, like, oh, he got the better of me. Get angry. Can we have some heels that get angry from time to time? Like, just once or twice? Do we always have to just laugh when somebody is getting the better of us? You know, he's not getting beat, he's getting mad. Not, he's not getting beat, he's smiling. Yeah. So...
Isn't this supposed to be a feud where Edge and Miz don't like each other?
You would think.
You know what? They missed an opportunity here. You know why they missed an opportunity here? Because they could have done with Edge, been like, when they came and Miz made his whole thing about, like, the old Edge could, do everything, but the new Edge can't handle this. Edge should have been like, I'm staring across from somebody trying to be me in 2006.
Yeah.
Because look at you, trying to be an ultimate opportunist, cashing in the money in the bank. You did that earlier this year. Look, you've got a side piece by you you're supposed to make tons of time with. The only thing is, it's 2021. You can't put a bed in the ring like I did. And that's the difference between you and me, Miz, is that I will always be one step sharper, one step finer tuned, one step grittier than you will ever be with your polished little style and your cute little hoodie and your Hollywood phony wannabe garbage. Because there's grit in this business. And Edge personifies grit. You could have gone somewhere with that, where you could have made the comparison. Because really, Miz and Maurice are trying a lot over the past few years to be what Edge and Lita really was.
That little blurb, that little promo you just cut, was better than any promo Edge and Miz have cut during this entire feud.
Well, hold on. The whole thing is that Edge just got out of a feud with Edge Light, who is Seth Rollins. The Miz is not really trying to be like Edge. He's trying to be The Miz, which is something else.
Well, at least they didn't try to have The Miz do a spear.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Can we take in the positives? Yeah. No woo. Atlanta didn't give a woo because Miz's figure 4 is poo.
Accurate.
Can we just say that the only reason why this feud even happened is that they're trying to capitalize on what happened with CM Punk and MJF?
Exactly. That is the only reason why this even happened, because he got name dropped on a different program. That is the only reason why.
Yep. That's pretty much it. And
can we go to the finish?
Oh God, the finish of this match.
Unless you have more notes, Sean.
Well, I do. Well, I'll run through them real quick. Why didn't the ref count after the Miz rolled in and the referee's count was at 7, and then he just stopped counting because he knew it wasn't time for Edge to get counted out?
Who is the ref?
Who remembers? They did a DDT spot outside the ring where Edge pulled the Miz out and did the DDT on the apron. That was a very smart spot because Edge knew that would restart the count. Because Miz got pulled out and that breaks the count because, another person's left the ring. That was smart. And then they followed it up with the ref not counting after the Miz rolled in. And also, another point of thing, we had a table. Everyone went to the announce table at least once tonight. Every match. Every single match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Spot where they went to the announce table. Just because other people are sitting at it doesn't mean the table spot is different. Why?
Legitimately just to annoy you.
The delay between the roll-up, the kick-out, and then getting posted.
Yeah.
If you remember this moment where there was the spot where Edge almost stopped and then got posted in it, it was just disjointed. But Edge knew exactly how long to milk the reversal of the poo figure 4 that Miz put in.
Mm-hmm.
And then then Miz went for a cheating pin, and he used the top. You don't use the top rope to put your feet on to cheat. What? Isn't that the most obvious spot?
Well, because here's the thing: it was supposed to happen in a match that's going to come up.
Well,
so maybe they were trying we'll save it for another.
Well,
match.
so much for that shit.
Well, and then we get a whole bunch of sissy hand slaps, and Corey Graves great counter by Edge. Maurice, and then, this is my final bit about this before we get to the finish. I regret giving Maurice the superstar spotlight. Because she was poop in this match. She was absolute poop in this match, and I'll tell you why. Because every time that she was supposed to get involved, or she was supposed to react, or she was supposed to put her foot on, or, get Edge's foot on, she just stood there and looks completely conspicuous. Let me put Miz's foot up. She puts her foot on the rope and just stands there and watches as the ref counts. Just, doesn't move away at all. Or, back up and go, look, ref, look what Miz did on his own. To make it look like they're cheating.
I also noticed that.
They didn't see with the ref. She literally just stood there.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It was very clunky.
Yeah, it wasn't even clunky. It was no action. Maurice looked mildly interested in this matchup. And that was the thing. She literally, that was all she did until she finally had to get up and get the referee's attention. But after all of that, I just was I was so disappointed because she didn't do any of the stuff that as a manager you could be doing to assist the match and how a finish like this was supposed to go. But instead, she just stood there like Melania Trump, like a little meerkat. Just whoa, what's going on here? Whoa.
I'm telling you, I watched that match with you, and I'm like, this is not good. And Maurice has never gotten the chance to get better, but it has to have interest, too. She has to be interested, and she's not.
Well, remember what I said, Sky? I said it then. It never felt like she wanted to get better. That was just my opinion, and we didn't know that for sure, but, you look at the way that she, worked in this match, if you can even call it that. It's just, I don't know.
She was literally trophy wife, just sitting in the corner, compared to Beth Phoenix, who comes in.
Oh, no.
But she waited for her music.
Oh, my God.
Kevin Dunn missed the pop.
Kevin
Dunn missed the moment.
That broke me. That broke me.
And waited for the music. It was and once again, the production of this show hurt every match. This was by far one of the worst go-rounds that Kevin Dunn and that entire production truck. I'm not even going to just say specifically Kevin Dunn, because I think when we say Kevin Dunn, we really mean the entire WWE production team sitting in that truck making that show happen. The people putting the switchboards, looking at the camera, go to this, go to that. There's a lot of people involved in there, and every one of them needs to be held accountable for this. It was bad production all night. It hurt the matches, it hurt the tone, and it overall just hurts your overall image.
Oh my God. Beth just standing there waiting for her music. Time stopped. It was so bad.
Horrible.
And then her music finally starts, and it's like the music starting unfroze her. It's just so unnatural, and just, my God.
It looked like a glitch from WWE Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
It reminded me of when Vampiro a couple of years ago stood up because somebody called him out on AAA. Stood up and he's sitting there, and then the camera's close enough you can hear him go, "Where's my fucking music?" Where's my music? He's literally standing there at the ring, just standing up, looking around, yelling into the announcer, "Where's my fucking music?" And then finally it shows up, and it's like, "All right, go time." And it's like, come on.
This sucked. This was way too long, and the finish was so badly botched.
Well, if you say that, the finish is badly botched. Let's talk about the next match.
At least we got a serviceable Bobby Lashley and MVP promo who are still great.
Mm-hmm.
I love them both, and I love this new Irish interviewer who's like, "Excuse me, Bobby, can I get a quick interview?" I love it. I love this guy. I don't know who he is. I forget his name, but you keep doing what you're doing, bud. Then we get this.
No, keep going.
It is Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch for the whichever color women's championship Becky's got.
The red one.
Okay, great. What did you think about this, JoshAgeddon?
This sucked. I hated this match. Like, I hate Liv Morgan. Her offense is the worst. Like 1 minute into this match, she tries a weird springboard flip into a code breaker, and her knees go nowhere near Becky's face, and Becky has to bump outside the ring for it, and I'm just like, I'm already disinterested in this match. I've already given up. Everything she does looks so, like, it's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like she wants to do such complex shit, but she's also terrified to hurt the other person, so it just looks so tentative, but it's so complex that it's just like, just do something. There was one powerbomb that looked good in this match, and that was it.
It's the fact that she doesn't have confidence in her own ability.
She really doesn't.
Like, she knows what to do, she knows what she wants to do, but she doesn't have confidence in herself to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And you can see it in everything she does. She does not feel comfortable in that ring.
No, she does not.
Okay.
I don't have much to say on this match. It was just Becky Lynch working and trying to get something out of Liv Morgan.
Oh, and by the way, did you notice Becky Lynch wasn't that great in this matchup either, because Becky Lynch tried to do that leg drop famouser in the middle of the rope that she does in some of her matches to the back of the head. Completely whiffed it.
And, okay. Where do I begin with this? I only have a few things to say, because you guys have pretty much covered everything else that I was going to bring up. I liked Becky's goats for shoulder pads. That was cool. That was real nice. The promo package leading up to this match really just showed how superior Becky Lynch is. Without even seeing any confrontation between them, you could tell from the promo package that Becky's the superior. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
In every way.
Better talker, better wrestler, more legitimate presence, everything.
I knew this was going to be bad when Liv cut the exact same, "Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a pro wrestler" promo we hear from all of them.
Oh, my God. I hated that, too.
As soon as I heard that, I knew this was not going to go well. Other news. Hold on. And actually, before we get into that, I got to roll something. We're going to do another intro, another piece of wrestling news. Going to put it in real quick. Roll it again, baby.
Coming straight to you from the Golden Gate Garage, this is the Wrestle News with Skyler Green.
Okay, in other news, now that we've gotten the second package in, small screaming girl who sucks at wrestling doesn't get over.
Gasp. I never would have guessed.
You have to be more specific. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
This is pretty consistent news. More at 11. Yeah, we had another announce table spot. People couldn't give two shits about Liv. Everything that Liv did was terrible. The entire Riot Squad is useless. Did Liv even touch Becky with that drop kick? No. Bad dive, more screaming. And then Becky tried to cheat, but she wasn't close enough to the ropes.
So she just pinned her clean.
That was just a bad finish. I just feel bad.
I would have rather Becky just, like, beaten her with her act, like, to disarm her.
Yeah.
I would have rather just her beating her flat.
I would have loved it if Becky just got her in the disarmer 30 seconds into the match and made her tap. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Also, what's up with Becky's face? Why does she keep doing these really weird expressions?
You mean like whenever someone kicks out of one of her moves and she starts rubbing her chin, lips, and nose? I hate it when she does that.
I blame Seth Rollins.
It feels like Becky is trying to do Seth Rollins' gimmick, but she can't because she can't pull it off.
I think she's trying to heal a little bit too hard, and I think that she could again, they're probably telling her to amp it up more than she really has to. I think she could do a lot more with a lot less when it comes to what, the facial expressions and all that jazz. But
Liv Morgan is way too green to be wrestling these types of matches. But
sure,
the problem
she's
is that
been in the ring for how long has the Riot Squad been around? 6 years?
She's been in WWE for 6 years. She was part of the Riot Squad since 2017. But again, most of those were 6-woman tags, okay?
But
she's not getting a lot of singles matches.
But
that's why they have a performance center.
Yeah. Well,
use it.
They used that NXT, which was a developmental program.
Put her on NXT 2.0. Put her on NXT 2.0.
Joshua, you missed just a quick moment. We were talking about the news and how WWE just released like everybody associated with Triple H ever. So Triple H is now looking at Vince McMahon going, Mr. Stark, I don't feel too good. But this was and that's right, folks. You get the same joke twice in one podcast.
Yeah, that is
You're
right.
welcome.
That's what happens when one of us is late.
That's right. And so this sucked. That was me reiterating my own jokes is more entertaining than this match.
Yes, Liv Morgan did not deserve this opportunity. She should not be on a pay-per-view singles match for a premium live event for a championship. God, I hate everything about Liv Morgan. She sucks in the ring. Those stupid little eye drop things on her face, I just hate them so. I just want to reach into the TV and rip them off one at a time. And if I hear one more person say, I've been through so much in my life, I've worked so hard, and now I'm finally here in the WWE, and I'm going to become champ, I want you to lose. I'm so sick and tired of everyone being like, my life sucked, and now I'm here. I don't care. I'm so over it.
Wait, hold on. Wow.
I'm so over it. Everyone does it. I'm so over it.
So, what? This can't be it. This can't be it.
You mean the final match that we get from Liv? No, probably not.
No. One of the guys from Migos is married to Cardi B.
God!
Okay.
Fuck!
Oh, and speaking of celebrities, Johnny Knoxville announced himself for the Royal Rumble.
Fuck! Why?
Because Johnny Knoxville could take a really big bump.
Hooray! Well, then Seth got another package and an interview, and Seth couldn't look at the camera. That promo would have been great.
Damn it!
And then we get a random ass cut to black. Did you guys get this?
Yes, I did.
With a random cut to black, and then it's like, all right, main event time.
Yeah, and then then it cuts to the announcers, and they're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
Well, here's the
not
thing.
Even they knew.
Well, here's the thing. We were supposed to get 2 world title matches, one fatal 4-way, which whatever, and then Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. But then Roman Reigns got COVID because 2021 it was a bitch.
Yeah. And Pat McAfee did a good job of saying, like, yeah, COVID's really screwing with us, wish Roman the best. There really probably wasn't anything else WWE could have said.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that I understand why they had to do this. They had to get Brock, because Brock Lesnar was advertised. You don't just pay Brock Lesnar to not show up. They had to involve him in some way, and they figured, let's just insert him into the other match, because why not?
Yeah. So we get a 5-way match. And as I say with most of these multi-person things, you had me at 5-way, you lost me at match.
Okay, Sean. I'm gonna look at your search history
Now we're getting into Sean's interests here.
And as with most 5-ways, there were no disqualifications.
Yeah.
Great.
There were also no countouts.
But thankfully, this wasn't bad. This was short, which was the best part, but this wasn't bad.
This was the only good thing on the whole goddamn show. In my
Why
opinion.
don't you break it down first, JoshAgeddon?
Alright, so this show just was straight up ass all the way through because nothing happened on this entire show except for shitty wrestling and terrible. Like, this is how not to shoot or record anything ever. And then we have this match, and it has a little bit of intrigue because at the last minute they had to jam Brock Lesnar into it. It was chaotic. They were throwing everyone everywhere. Brock Lesnar throwing suplexes is always amazing to watch. I love how Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, they had an alliance for the entire thing, and I like how they didn't deteriorate through the entire match, because in every match like this, they work together and then they start fighting each other, because I want to win! No, I want to win! They didn't do that in this match. So,
I will say, just to kind of add on to that, I wish they hadn't done the double super kick that the Usos, that's basically half of the Usos gimmick is those double super kicks. I just wish they didn't do that.
yeah.
We didn't need it.
We also got a spear through the barricade again.
But the spear for the barricade is awesome.
It looked good, but we've seen it 8 trillion times.
It's part of the premium. That's what you pay for when you get the premium live event. You get an announced day.
If you get a live event, no barricades break. Premium? Oh, those barricades are coming down!
That's right. But also,
Yep,
but
and
not on a regular
Atlanta,
live event.
Georgia, shouting out, "We want tables!" Clap, 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 clap.
That was the thing that got the biggest pop all night, wrestlers included.
Yep.
They wanted to see someone put through a table, and they put someone through a table.
That is the state of our
Yay!
business today, folks.
Yay!
The over thing in wrestling is the pre-cut table.
Well, it was the announced table that they put someone through.
Okay, well then the IKEA table that they probably bought at IKEA.
The cardboard table that breaks if you push it too hard.
Hey, to be respectful to IKEA, they make better products than you think they do.
Their meatballs are banging.
Yep.
I won't lie, their meatballs are absolutely banging. And
My favorite thing in this matchup, though, the last F5 that Brock gave Big E was brutal.
But if you notice, so hold on, let's talk about, let's forget Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens for a second, okay? Because they didn't really matter to the finish of this match.
Except that Kevin Owens has the best frog splash in wrestling, and only he should be allowed to do it. Continue.
We should really talk about the other 3 guys, because they're the ones that are more important. Now, here's the thing. During this whole entire time, has Big E been a good world champion or a bad world champion? And more importantly, is it his fault or WWE's fault that he doesn't feel important?
Well, I think you just answered your own question.
Yeah, exactly. You just basically said what either of us could have said.
Exactly.
You know?
The thing about Big E is that he hasn't been bad because he's not a good wrestler. He's not a charismatic person. He's not a good promo. The problem is that WWE did nothing to make him feel different from being part of the New Day other than give him another new theme. Because he has the same kind of colorful attire. He cuts the same types of promos. He has the same type of behavior. I'm silly, but when time's going, I get serious. Nothing changed about Big E whatsoever.
Nope.
And I feel bad because Big E, people kept saying he got the Kofi treatment, and I was arguing against it, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, he got the Kofi treatment. He only got the title because they wanted to do a ratings jump.
I mean, almost to the T. I mean, it was like almost the exact same amount of time, although I think Kofi had a longer
No, Kofi had
run.
way longer.
Kofi had a longer run, but the matches that he had were meaningless. They didn't give him any opponents to really make him feel more special. And then he loses to Brock Lesnar, at least not in 9 seconds. You know, but he is the one who took the pin.
If Xavier Woods ever wins the WWE title, we already know who the next champion's gonna be.
Watch out for Beasts Incarnate.
Just take the belt and run.
Now, here's the thing, though. During this entire match, Brock Lesnar, as much offense as he got in, he never got a single offensive move on Bobby Lashley.
Exactly.
And that's on purpose, Bobby kept attacking Brock Lesnar. And you know who the number one contender is for Brock Lesnar's championship now, right?
Bobby fucking Lashley.
Robert.
Now, let me go ahead and get into more information / speculation, shall we?
Let's do it.
So Bobby Lashley won that Fatal 4-Way with the other guys to become the number one contender for Brock Lesnar's WWE title at the Royal Rumble. Apparently, the plans are still for Brock Lesnar to wrestle against Roman Reigns at Mania. However, it will not be a title unification, nor will it be a champion versus champion match. What that means is that most likely he's going to drop the title at some point, and I think Bobby Lashley's going to take it from him.
I mean, I would love that.
I would counter that Roman Reigns is going to lose the belt to Happy Corbin.
Sean,
wow. Jesus.
Take this hand. I want you to turn around, shove it up your ass, and shut the fuck up.
Wait, what are you doing with your hand?
I'm sorry, Madcap Moss. Moss.
Oh, God. No, Johnny Knoxville's winning the Royal Rumble.
That's right. Knoxville wins the Rumble.
Welcome to Jackass. I'm the Universal Champion.
But I also think it's not Big E's fault, too. He's just stuck in the fact that people want to see Lashley versus Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, that's a dream match that people have had for a while now.
And like you touched upon, Sky, Big E's run just didn't work. It just didn't work. Again, it's not necessarily his fault, but he was, I think, a victim of timing. Another victim of timing, another concession made by Vince McMahon. Vince does this a lot, where he'll be like, all right, let's shut the marks up and give him something once. Basically, I bet you Ziggler's whole title reign, granted, he got the concussion, and then that was that. But I also think that no matter what, that Ziggler was not going to get another world title after that. I really don't think he was. Because I think that a lot of ways Ziggler was a concession by Vince McMahon saying, fine, you like this guy a lot, let's give this to you so you'll shut up about it, and then we'll go back to our business at hand, after a few months have passed, and you're all happy, and you're all bitching about how his run didn't work like we said it wouldn't. So I think that this is kind of another one of those times where they gave it to Big E just to shut the marks up, to make some big splash, and it just didn't work.
And remember, he got the title reign the same week that CM Punk came back. They did that whole thing just to pop a rating because they needed to
where he cashed in on a heel Lashley who was injured and looked like the babyface.
Exactly. Even though Bobby Lashley just beat up Randy Orton, they had to make him injured so he would get sympathy.
This company does not know what the hell they're doing.
Absolutely not.
We think Tony Khan and company are bad, but this company has no idea what the hell they're doing. Tony, just for pure ignorance, doesn't know what he's doing. These guys have no excuse for not knowing what they're doing.
Like, Tony is just inexperienced. These guys just straight up suck.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's that Vince is senile. He doesn't know what to think anymore because he doesn't have it there logically. He should just... Again, I don't want to say what I'm thinking.
What I almost said earlier, almost just dropped the "just die already" earlier in the podcast.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but now you said it, so we might as well talk about it.
Well, I mean, either that or sell. Either that or just sell and just get out of there. Just get out while the going's good. Go retire to your mansion with your Linda McMahon robots.
Well, he's trying to sell his mansion, though.
No, well, apparently that was his backup mansion. That was his mansion. He might come visit every now and then.
So
not the
is that his side mansion?
Yes, that is his side piece mansion. So now we're into ratings. Why don't we start with Skyler? Because you're the one I'm most interested in. Because you have, to your own admission, been the more forgiving of the three of us when it comes to WWE. So what did you grade this show?
I mean, the thing about it is that this is just a hard show to defend. Nothing happened on it besides the main event. There wasn't anything that was horrendously bad, but there wasn't anything that was interesting either. Like, the baseline score for me is 5 out of 10, but I'm not going to give a 5 out of 10 because it's a baseline. It should be average. If I can say there's only one good thing in 3 hours, then there's only one good thing in 3 hours. 3 out of 10.
All right. Joshua.
Once again, there was one good thing on this show, and it was the main event. And it's purely because of the last split-second hey, we've got to do something crazy real quick because our main champion is out with COVID, so we have to do something radical. That was the only thing on the show. Everything else was just boring, bad, uninteresting, uninspired, just another episode of Raw. And I'm actually going to go a little bit lower than Skyler. Again, like, I'm giving this show a 2 out of 10, and that 2 is purely for the main event.
Wow. This is wild. I did not think I would be the highest scorer of the three of us. Genuinely.
Well, here's the thing. Originally, had you asked me the day after, I would have given it a 4. But the more I think about it, the more I think, they didn't really do a good show.
No, it wasn't a good show. And here's the most interesting thing. Here's why I will give them credit. They got me interested in a multi-person match. That doesn't happen very often. Because
but the only reason why they got you interested was because of a last-minute change.
But it was also in the last 2.5 minutes that match got anywhere near good. I mean, there were spots, and it was fun. I mean, it was fun. This was fun. It was short. It was sweet. I wish that all the matches had been this short. But the rest of this show, I mean, it was just long and meandering. And when the second best match on the night involves Madcap Moss, that pretty much tells you all you need to know. I mean, it's just, again, the production value of this show was the worst it's ever been. That's where I feel like this show hit a new low. But I will say this. The 5-way was fun. The ending of the Usos match, as much as I don't like Spot Fest, was fun. Atlanta,
it's great to see Edge's Brood entrance.
Edge's Brood entrance was fun, and, you know, if the match wasn't the worst until the ending, you know, there were some redeeming qualities, but it's getting harder and harder and harder to defend the few redeeming qualities in a show just muddled with shit. At least with an AEW show, there's a good show hidden behind hours worth of filler. There's none of that. There's a lot of filler here, but all that filler exposes just a bad show. But I would argue that if Roman Reigns had not gotten COVID, we would look at this show worse.
Probably.
Because the Roman Reigns-Brock Lesnar match, they'd probably make the stupid decision of taking the title off Roman Reigns at day one, which I'm sure was what their plan was originally. Because
their plan originally was to have Paul Heyman get involved and delay it.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like, yeah, so wait, great. We get like a match of 5 minutes and finishes, which we know that's what it's going to be. You know, no knock on either gentleman, but we know that's what it's going to be. We get a Roman Reigns-Brock Lesnar match that we see Heyman's involvement, which would be probably the best part of the match, and then we'd get a fuck finish and everybody'd be pissed because we all know it'd be heading into WrestleMania. So just on the sheer fact that Roman Reigns getting COVID might have actually helped this show, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 10.
Damn.
Which is weirdly the most...
When a 3.5 is the highest grade.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
When COVID gets you half a point. That's when you know.
Jesus.
COVID coming in and making the show better because it forces them to be creative.
That's right. Well, thankfully, our creativity is just getting started. Whether theirs remains to be seen. But a hell of a show. All the news, day one. Now we're into day 8.
Ish.
That's right. And going forward, we're going to have some good times. So stay tuned for that. Got some fun news about the 100th episode coming up next week, so stay tuned for that. Josh, again, thank you for coming on our show, and thank you for having us on your show.
Absolutely. And I apologize for being late. It'll probably happen again.
It probably will. And Skyler, thank you for being here from the beginning and staying solid as you always are.
Toodles, my man. Thank you.
Toodles.
Toodles.
To you too.
Toodles and oodles.
Sean loses his mind. We'll be right back after these.
All right, God.
Oh, God. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.